Hello everyone, this is Hyper. Welcome back to BioShock Infinite. I have no idea really how much more this game has in store for us, but we're just gonna get right into it. We are in Rapture. I don't know how and I don't know why.
This is where we have to go.
Oh yeah,
Why?
this is the
What is
fastest
going
way.
on? Elizabeth, what do you mean this is a doorway?
This is where the first game
I'll have to
started.
show you.
This is so crazy.
Probably gonna regret this.
See, this is in the future for them, so
City at the bottom of the ocean. Ridiculous.
in a city in the air isn't. Backstories. Is it gonna show the plane? No. I thought it was
Look at
gonna show the
that.
plane.
Thousands of doors
Yeah, that's the lighthouse.
opening all at once. My God, they're beautiful.
What, the stars?
Come on. Come on, it's this way. Come on.
What's this way? This is just the lighthouse.
Are you going to open it?
It's no good. Damn it. I thought once we were here, I could fully control it. I thought
What is that?
it's a key.
Where did it come from?
It's always been there. I just couldn't see it.
That makes sense. Definitely. I don't know what's going on with her dress. I'm sorry,
See?
what?
Not stars. They're doors
Doors to...
to everywhere. All that's left is the choosing.
I don't understand what that means.
What are all these lighthouses? Why are we... Who are...
There are a million worlds. All different, all similar. Constants and variables.
What?
There's always a lighthouse. There's always a man. There's always a city.
How do you know this?
I can see them through the doors. You, me, Columbia, Songbird. But sometimes, something's different,
Oh,
yet the same.
Constants and variables.
Yes.
I don't know which way to go now. Let's just go this way. So this is like a physical representation of all the alternate universes that exist?
Look,
It's us.
not exactly. We swim in different oceans but land on the same shore. It always starts with a lighthouse.
That's what I
I don't understand.
We don't need to. It'll happen all the same.
Why?
Because it does. Because it has. Because it will.
You're
There's
not
so
making
many
this any less
choices.
scripted.
They
What
all
is
lead
there?
us
She's
to the
floating.
same place. Where it started.
No one tells me where to go.
Booker. We've already been.
What does that mean? I want to go this way. Or not. Oh, this is so weird. Let's go this way.
Wait a minute. I know this place. I was here. It's been 20 years ago, right after Wounded Knee. I was looking for...
Come on now, time's a-wasting.
Why were you here?
Are you ready to have your past erased? Are you ready to have your sins cleansed? Are you ready to be born again? Take my hand.
No. No, I don't want to.
You already did, didn't you?
Can I just go up here? Can I come up from behind you? Oh.
Are you ready to be born again?
I
No.
am.
Do you hate your sins?
I do.
Do you hate your wickedness?
Yes.
Do you want to clean the slate, leave behind all you were before, and be born again in the blood of the
Yes.
Lamb? Jesus, wash this man clean. Father, make him
Stop
born
it.
again. Lord,
Stop it.
what
No.
are you doing to it?
Get off me! Get off!
Son!
You didn't go through with it.
Think a dunk in the river's gonna change the things I've done? Let's get out of here. Hey, these doors of yours, they're all tears, right? Well, open one up. Open one up to Paris. I want to be shut of all this.
Not until we find Comstock.
Comstock's dead!
No. He was here. This way.
But I killed him. We're not gonna find an alternate universe where he's alive. I don't want to go through all that.
And what of my debts?
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
This is the man who hired me to find you.
Really?
Yes. The girl for the debt.
The Ludus.
Wait, no, this is wrong. What is this? It was no baby. I remember. No, there was no baby, and if there was, I sure as hell wouldn't give it over to this guy.
Booker, you don't leave this room until you do.
Do it. Time is running short. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
Wait, what? What is
Go ahead.
No.
You can wait as long as you want. Eventually, you'll give him what he wants.
How do you know all this?
I can see all the doors, and what's behind all the doors. And behind one of them, I see him.
Comstock. What choice do I have?
The debt's paid. Mr. Comstock washes you of all your sins.
what?
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
There was no baby. The deal was I go to Columbia to get you.
Booker, you're bleeding.
No. I remember what I remember.
Now we've upset him.
I don't expect this next bit will do much for his mood.
Come on.
This just gets more and more crazy.
What are we doing here? Comstock's dead. We can just go on with our lives. You don't need
Dead?
to...
You mean like Chen Ling? Like Lady Comstock? No. He is alive in a million worlds.
that doesn't
It's not
matter
over
though.
because the prophet is dead. It will only be over when he never even lived in the first place.
That doesn't matter. He's dead in this world.
Hey! Hey, the deal's off, you hear me?
Rather unstable.
The deal is off!
It's
Give her back!
fine, hurry!
Give her back!
Fine, are you mad?
Give her back, you son of a bitch!
It's ready! Go!
What is
No.
happening?
No, no,
Shut
no!
down the machine!
No!
Shut it
Anna!
down! Shut down the
Anna!
machine! Now do it!
Give me back my daughter! No!
Pinky.
Anna? No. No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anna, I'm sorry.
She's gone, Booker. Anna's gone. You shared this room with your regret for almost 20 years. Until one day, a man came to you and offered you a chance at redemption. A chance for us to be together.
I told you.
Oh my god.
We already know it works. The question is,
Anna. Sorry, Anna.
Do you suppose he branded himself as some sort of penance?
Should have.
Don't see the point. What's done is done. What's done will be done. I suppose the brand is his hair shirt, as he is ours.
Wipe away the debt. Bring us the girl. Wipe away the debt.
See?
Bring us the
He's
girl.
starting to put his story together.
Wipe away
You're quite fond of this theory of yours.
He's manufacturing new memories from his old ones.
Well,
Wipe.
the brain adapts.
I should know. I lived
girl.
it.
This already what?
Booker, wake up.
This already happened.
Booker, wake up. This is where it started.
Yeah.
I sold you.
To your credit, you did try to weasel out of the deal.
This is all Comstock's fault. What if I went back? Killed him before he did any of this?
Things get set in motion.
How would one know how far back to go?
When he was born.
That's the only way to do it. Go back to when he was born. And I'll smother the son of a bitch in his crib.
So it's just a loop. This story is just absolutely insane.
Booker, are you sure this is what you want?
Isn't this what
Have
you
to.
want?
It's the only way to undo what I've done to you.
But when he's...
Booker DeWitt, are you ready to
What
be
is this?
born again?
Why are we back here?
This isn't the same place, Booker.
Of course it is. I remember.
Are you ready to leave behind all
You're
that
not-
has gone before? Wipe the slate clean.
Who are
and
you?
start
You
anew.
chose to walk away,
Washed in
but in
the
other
blood
oceans,
of the Lamb.
you didn't. You took the
Do you
baptism.
hate your
You were
sin?
born again as a different man.
Do you hate your
It all has to end, to have never started. Not just in this world, but in all of ours.
Smother him in the crib.
Smother, 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 smother.
I...
Before the choice is made, before you are
And
reborn.
what name shall you take, my son?
He's Zachary Comstock. He's Booker DeWitt.
No. And both.
What is happening? Hold on a minute. I'm sorry, what? I was that close to the ending. I have to go read the Wikipedia page for this thing, bro, because I... Oh. Okay, I'm gonna explain this all later, but I'm gonna let the credits roll for now because there is a post-credit scene. But this story is crazy. This game is absolutely crazy.
I may not always love
And I can't believe I was that
you,
close to the end because
but long as there are
it's only been like
stars
16 minutes.
above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you, without you. And if you should ever leave me, though life would still go on, believe me, the world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. Do 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 God only knows what I'd be without you. Oh, I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you, without you, without you.
Tainted love. Oh, that's cool. They have a little area where all the members of the team wrote down stuff to say. That's so sweet. So cool.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior.
This song is like the
You're
same
back on
melody as
Mother
Everybody Wants to Rule the
Nature.
World.
Everybody wants to rule the
Yeah.
world.
Wait, is the song by Tears for Fears just a cover of this song?
It's my own design. It's my own remorse. Help me to decide. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule. There's a room where the light won't find you. Holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. They do, I'll be right behind you. So glad we almost made it. So sad they had to fade it. Everybody wants to rule the world. I can stand this indecision, married with a lack of vision. Everybody wants to rule. Say that you never needed one headline, why believe it? Everybody wants to rule the world.
This is fine. It's that one line I don't.
Yeah,
This
he'll
is
figure it
cool.
out.
That's what I'm saying. Went back home, Lord. My home was lonesome. Went back.
Back home,
Is that Troy Baker?
my home was lonesome. All my brothers, sisters cried. What a home. See, but then now it's too short. Now it's one too short.
Yeah, I
Because
get it.
then it goes, what a home. So here, we'll play it one more time. Went back home, Lord. My home was lonesome. All my brothers, sisters cried. What a home.
I don't know if that's him. I heard him speaking. It sounded kind of like him. But...
lonely. And then it's missing the next line. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the second, that's the third, that's the fourth. But then, and I don't think that's supposed to say lonely.
Probably lonely.
Sad.
We're just missing one.
We'll get the actual.
Yeah, that is Troy Baker.
Can
Okay.
we run it through this video?
He has longer hair than his Wikipedia page.
There are loved ones in the glory whose dear forms you often miss. When you close your earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? Will the circle be unbroken by and by? childhood, all they told of wondrous loves pointed to the dying Savior. Now they dwell with him above. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. You remember songs of heaven which you sang with childish voice. Do you love the hymns they taught you, or are songs of earth your choice? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. You can picture happy gatherings around the fireside long ago, and you think of tearful partings when they left you here below. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. One by one their seats were empty. One by one they went away. Now the family is parted. Will it be complete one day? That's it. Do you think that this one should be like slowed down a little bit since it's the last verse?
You can do that.
Otherwise, there's like, well, otherwise there's just like an abrupt ending, right?
I didn't know Troy Baker could sing so well.
What I want to do, you guys are really, really, really good. What I want to do
Well,
is
Make it 28 worse.
I want to take the tempo down a little bit if we can, and sort of start by finding like Booker. If you could just be sort of like picking away at the beginning first, and then sort of start to play the song, and maybe then you guys kind of find the tempo together a little bit. I want it to feel you guys are so excellent and professional.
Yeah, no, it won't be like that.
I want to make it sound like it's not like, you know,
Sure.
Sheryl Crow and
Right.
Eric Clapton in a session. So
He gets Eric Clapton, I get Sheryl Crow.
Job. Who do you want, Job?
Right. Yeah. Joplin.
Ex Tina.
Britney Spears and Seal.
Okay, I believe there is a post-credit scene. Yep.
Anna.
1893.
Anna? Anna? Is that you?
Wow, man. That game was crazy, and I was doing some reading during the credits, and I understand. I understand it now. So, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. So basically, Booker DeWitt and Zachary Hale Comstock are the same person. Now, I don't know how they have different names, but they're the same person just in different timelines. And I'm basically reading this word for word off of IGN, but they're the same person, right? And therefore, the only way to prevent the creation of Columbia, which is what um, Elizabeth wanted to do at the end there, is to kill Booker during his quote unquote transformation into Comstock, which is that happened at the very ending when you were drowned, or when Booker was drowned, right? And so, what happened at the end, after we destroyed the siphon in the last episode, Elizabeth apparently becomes omniscient. Basically, like her full power is unleashed. She can see everything. And she realizes the implications are much bigger than just Comstock and Columbia. She sees that the universes in which the Booker character lives lead to the inevitable. A man builds a city, attempts to leave society behind, and creates a utopia, which ultimately leads to corruption, downfall, and destruction. Sometimes the destruction of Columbia, sometimes the destruction of civilization by Columbia, which is the one ending where New York City was getting like destroyed by Columbia, and the old Elizabeth pulled us into that reality briefly. That's what that was. And then, of course, that also means that the, of course, Rapture, the BioShock 1 and 2 city, could indeed be created. Like Andrew Ryan could be the same person as Zachary Hale Comstock, could be the same person as Booker DeWitt, right? It's just that in the Booker DeWitt universe, he never became that man, right? That's what it means by there's always a man, there's always a city. And it's actually likely that they were different realities. So the reality in which Columbia exists is a different reality than where Rapture exists. They don't exist in the same universe. They exist in alternate universes because that person is apparently the same. Okay. And yeah, as Elizabeth puts it, there's always a man, always a lighthouse, always a city, which I thought that's what it was. I knew it had to have some connection to Rapture because it's the same um it's the same like opening as the first game. You go to a lighthouse and then um basically the whole story is a cycle, right? Because at the end you realize that you were brought there by the Lutesses or whatever their name is in order to try to stop the cycle because Elizabeth is actually Booker DeWitt's daughter, Anna. And so said that already. So yeah. So yeah, this is where the infinite comes from in BioShock Infinite because there's an infinite number of alternate universes that could have happened. And so yeah, in BioShock Infinite's universe, Comstock came into existence and created Columbia. In BioShock 1 and 2, Andrew Ryan came into existence and created Rapture, but they both don't exist in the same universe. And there is also speculation floating around, apparently, that Andrew Ryan could also just be, like I said, the same person as Booker DeWitt and the same person as um, Comstock, because at the end, you use a bathysphere, you pull the lever, right, which probably shows that you're just the same person. And especially at the end there, when it showed the baptism, that originally took place after the Wounded Knee Massacre because Booker DeWitt was in like, you know, unbelievable guilt and unbelievable grief over what he did at the Wounded Knee Massacre. And so he went to a baptism to try and, um, you know, get rid of his sins. And I'm just going to press escape here. Yeah, save changes. I'm just going to press escape here so we're not watching this person get his shoe shined. But, so there's two main universes that occur from this point on. There's one in which Booker DeWitt accepts the I can't speak. There's one in which Booker DeWitt accepts the baptism and then eventually becomes Comstock, which leads to the creation of Columbia and leads to the events of this game. But that's also confusing because there's tons of other realities that you go through in this game. But The second is where DeWitt refuses the baptism, which is what he did in his universe, which creates the man that you play as throughout the game. But you and Comstock are the same person, just from different realities. So, so yeah, the crucial point in Booker DeWitt's existence is that of the baptism which occurs after the Battle of Wounded Knee. So yeah, he either accepts it or denies it. So after he declines it and remains himself, he's Booker DeWitt. He has a daughter named Anna. He owes a great debt through his gambling addiction and gives up Anna, his daughter, to Robert Ludus, who is working for Comstock in order to pay the debt. I'm actually just trying to understand this myself now. So yeah, he changes his mind at the last second, and while trying to pull Anna away from Comstock, who is escaping through a tear created by uh, Rosalind, Lutece's machine, her pinky finger is cut off as the tear between their universes close, which is why she didn't have a pinky there. And so yeah, the Booker in this universe lives in regret and depression for about 20 years. At some point during this time, he brands AD on his and standing for Anna DeWitt. He's eventually pulled over into Comstock's world by Robert and Rosalind, which is how it begins. Um, it begins in the boat with Robert and Rosalind, and you seemingly don't remember how you exactly got there, but you had like it was almost similar to the first BioShock in which you almost had memories like given to you. You thought like I don't know. Yeah, Booker invents an entirely different story within his mind in which he is tasked to retrieve a girl in order to pay off his debt to a man in New York. So I don't think that's a loop necessarily. Like that actually happened. It's just that the story that you told yourself was different. I think the reason, yeah, the Luteces brought the Booker into this universe in order to stop the cycle, and then apparently in the very beginning, um, Lutece says the mind of the subject will desperately struggle to create memories where none exist. DeWitt needed a reason to be in this alternate place that wasn't entirely his own. His imagined story helped his mind remain stable. This also explains the conversation between Booker and Elizabeth when he says he had never heard of Columbia before arriving there. The city simply did not exist in his universe. So yeah, actually, Booker DeWitt is a complete like he's not just a foreigner in the Columbia universe. He's a complete like alien in the Columbia universe because in his universe none of this exists. He doesn't even technically belong here because and that almost makes sense with the AD on his hand because Comstock knows that the person who has the AD on his hand will be himself but from a different universe brought in by the Luteces because well that's him from an alternate universe. And so he makes the whole idea that the false prophet, and he might actually believe that, right? But he also does know that it is himself, but from an alternate universe. He knows that the person who has the AD on their hand will be the Booker DeWitt from a previous alternate reality who was sent there by the Luteces, presumably to get the girl out, which is just crazy. So yeah, and then from here, there are several different possible scenarios, which are the alternate universes that you experience within the game. The others are presumed to have led to Booker's death. Any other universes within the game that you experience, such as the one in which Booker joins the Vox Populi, were created by Elizabeth. This means that they didn't exist before she needed them to. Oh, so the ones where, like, for example, you were a martyr for the Vox Populi. That was apparently created by Elizabeth. Um, yeah, it's confusing. And then of course the Comstock universe. He accepts the baptism, he becomes Comstock, creates Columbia, and foresees the future through use of Rosalind Lutece's tears in the universe. So yeah, he looked into the future in which or not even just the future, but just in the alternate universe in which Booker DeWitt, the false shepherd, attempted to overthrow him. In this universe, he also saw his own daughter lead Columbia after his death and drown in fire the mountains of man. Before confronting him near the replica of the siphon, there are panels depicting your exploits in Columbia, the last of which is Comstock standing at the basin. Because his exposure to these terrors made him sterile, he had to open up a tear into universe in which he had a child and retrieve her. So yeah, in the Comstock universe, he never technically had a daughter, and he was never able to because through the use of the machine, he became sterile and he couldn't have children. But in the Booker DeWitt universe, he does have a daughter. So it's weird because in the Booker DeWitt universe, Elizabeth is your daughter, but in the Comstock universe, of course, she isn't. And then in the thing at the end is called the Sea of Doors. And so there we see other instances of Booker and Elizabeth. This means that ours is not the only Booker to make it here. Since there are only a few Elizabeths at the baptism, it could be that there are clusters of universes. Most of them do not have an Elizabeth that gets her full powers back, but one universe does. Thus, the other Bookers we see walking are each closing their own cluster of universes. It could also be implying that the other pairs we see are other players who finished Infinite. That is a cool idea too. Having infinite alternate universes works for a video game because, well, other people are going to play it. So that's crazy. And then at the very end, Booker slash Comstock once again approaches the baptism scene by the river and is joined by different versions of Elizabeth slash Anna who have stepped into this universe and Timestein. With their help, Booker finally realizes he is also Comstock, just in a different universe. The previous two choices lead to the repeating cycles. The Elizabeths know that the only way to break out of them is to disrupt the always a man, always a city world order and destroy the man before he builds the city. The Elizabeths drown Booker and doesn't struggle much as he resigns himself to his fate. So yeah, they drown you. The circle is broken and Booker no longer becomes Comstock. As the Comstock universes collapse and Anna is no longer pulled into them, the different grown-up versions of Anna slash Elizabeth who are pulled into this final altered universe disappear one after the other. In the universe where Booker DeWitt exists, Robert Lutez is born rather than Rosalind. In the universe where Booker becomes the version of Comstock we see in the game, Rosalind is born rather than Robert. So yeah, I did read this earlier because I looked up kind of a little bit of the story, but it said that Rosalind and Robert were just alternate universe versions of the same person. So they're the same person, they're just one's a man and one's a woman. So the Booker DeWitt universe has Robert, the Comstock version has Rosalind, but they somehow got into the same universe. So prior to meeting Comstock in the Comstock universe, Rosalind, um, Rosalind basically did some science stuff, and then she got some funds from Comstock that let her be able to open a machine that could open tears into other universes. And then apparently her ultimate goal at the time, which seemed to be acquiring Robert Ludus. In Booker's universe, Robert Ludus is assigned with the task of retrieving Anna DeWitt from Booker, which is the whole bring us the girl, wipe away the debt. At the point which this exchange takes place, a portal is created between the two main universes in order to bring Anna back to Comstock. So, so they know of each other's existence. That was the thing in the alleyway with Comstock like throwing the baby through. In order to bring Anna to Comstock, Rosalind is on the receiving end and attempts to get Robert to come through the portal as well so they can be together. Booker makes a last-minute decision that he wants his daughter back and attempts to pull her away from the tear but is unsuccessful and her pinky finger is cut off. And then many years later, Robert, being remorseful for stealing Elizabeth from Booker and setting her on a path to attack those living on the surface of Earth. So, so yeah, the universe where they're attacked apparently leads to the like attack. It has something to do with like she's returned to the tower and she becomes successfully brainwashed and then Um, they just attack New York City. Robert gave Rosalind an ultimatum that he would leave her life if she did not help him send Elizabeth back to her own universe. Comstock, whether aware of this plan or just trying to destroy any chances of word of what he'd done getting out, ordered Jeremiah Fink to sabotage the machine to kill Robert and Rosalind. However, their consciousness was instead fused with the possibility universe, giving them apparent immortality and ability to travel through time and space. This would make it easier to carry out the plan. So yeah, that's why they see it literally everywhere. It should also be noted that early in the game, where the Ludises had Booker flip a coin, Robert carried a chalkboard with heads marked many times. When Booker is asked to choose, he either says heads or tails, but the coin will always land on heads, as it is a constant. It is revealed later that Robert conducted experiments on different Bookers in different timelines to try to change his choices. The telegram about not picking the number 77 baseball, the coin flip, the choice of pendant, etc., were all attempts to do this, but as Elizabeth explains, there are constants and variables. This article is so long. I don't think I'm going to read all of this. So yeah, the Ludises know what's going to happen because they've been through it before with other Bookers. Think of your playthrough of the game as Booker's 100th or so attempt at preventing Comstock from ever existing. So basically, this thing has happened before many times, but in all of them, something has gone wrong. And through some context clues and math, it's likely that this is the 123rd total playthrough. I'm just reading some stuff because this guide is super long. I'm only like, I mean, I'm not even close to like the end of the page. IGN really went ham on this article. Oh yeah, the man at the very beginning who we found dead. Though this was likely a man sent by Comstock in order to prevent Booker from making it to Columbia in the first place. It's also likely that during one of the first attempts to get Booker to Elizabeth, that man actually killed him. Thus, he was killed by the Luteces during any attempts after this one. So yeah, there's a lot of basically context clues throughout the entire game that point to the fact that this is not the first time any of this has happened. It's just the first time that it's been this successful. This is the 123rd attempt by the Luteces to get the cycle broken and to get Elizabeth, like, to get all this stuff sorted out. It's crazy. And yeah, I only died once, but if you do die, you often see the black and white flashback to Booker's office, and it's possible that it treats your respawn uh, with the fact that Booker actually have died, and then you continue playing as another Booker who makes a better choice at that time to prevent his death. And she actually, Elizabeth gained her powers from the point in which she lost her pinky finger. So the portal closing on her affected her and gave her the powers because it resulted in her partially existing in two universes at once. I think that might basically be it. There's a lot of like there is a lot of other stuff. Um, oh yeah, and in the Booker DeWitt universe, his wife dies. I think his wife was named Anna. So Yeah, I just got to a section that says community theories, so I don't think. This game is so crazy. Like I'm just reading through some of these like community theories or whatever, and like it's this is just crazy. If you've gotten to this point, first off, thank you, and second off, if you've understood anything that I've been saying, like hats off to you, because like me trying to wrap my head around it is just I don't know if I think I'm gonna yeah I'm exiting out of that because there's so many there's literally like at least three or four other theories that I was reading through briefly. I was just like skimming through. Basically, there's a whole bunch of different universes where a whole bunch of different stuff happened, and this world is a lot less complex. In a way, it's a lot less complex because you and Comstock are the same person. Your daughter Anna is Elizabeth. You know, Robert and Rosalind are the same person, just in different universes. You, as Booker DeWitt, are probably the same person as Andrew Ryan, just in a different universe. You're also the same person as Comstock, right? There's always a man, there's always a city. And like honestly, I almost understand how they haven't made another BioShock game since this because because this is just amazing. Like I don't see any way that they could outdo this story because this type of like this is like it, the movie Inception. This is like Inception levels of story crafting here and just like absolute I'd say confusion, but like at the same time I kind of understand it. Like that's the great thing about stories like this is that if you think hard enough and if you follow it, you can understand it. But it's still like it's confusing enough to just make you think, but it's not confusing enough that it's a fine balance. And this game does it unbelievably well. Like, I knew that it had to do somewhat with alternate universes, and I knew that it had somewhat to do with, this stuff. Like, it's just, it's great. If you've gotten to this point, you obviously know the story of it, but I would say, like, play it yourself if you want. I didn't even use, like, most of the guns in this game. Really, I used, like, the pistol and the typical, the standard, like, submachine gun for most of the game. So, play it yourself if you want. It's probably on sale or something right now. I don't know if there's a sale on these games. There might be. You could just look. I feel like I saw that there was a sale on these games recently. Um, I think there was a 2K sale recently that might still be going on at the time of this video, but I'm not sure. I think there is some downloadable content here that I got just because I got the game or whatever. This one I know that the burial at sea actually has to do with going back to Rapture as Booker DeWitt. So I know that it has to do with that. But as for the first one, I'm going to look. I don't know why I can't just find. Okay, I'm just gonna look up BioShock Infinite. Clash in the Clouds. What even is this? Because if it doesn't have a huge like relation to the story. Okay, no, it's just challenges. So yeah, but I think the burial at sea. So yeah, I don't know if this is. Uh, let me put it this way. I don't know if the burial at sea. I don't know which universe that would take place in, but according to the Wikipedia page, it takes place in the underwater metropolis Rapture before the events of the first BioShock game. Which now that I understand how this game works, makes it really confusing because that would mean it's an alternate universe in which Booker DeWitt likely became Andrew Ryan in some way, but then Booker DeWitt is pulled into that universe where Andrew Ryan created Rapture. But yeah, I think I will play that. It doesn't seem too long. There's only like, yeah, I mean, there's only like a few paragraphs in total for both episodes. So I might be able to just do like one episode or one video per episode. I might not. We'll see. But yeah, I think I will play that because that is just it's crazy, man. I can see why on Metacritic, I read this. Metacritic, this is the third highest rated game behind GTA 5 and oh god, what was the other one? I forget what the other one was. And The Last of Us. And I think it might be in that order, but I'm not sure. But yeah, behind GTA 5 and The Last of Us, this was rated as their third highest ever rated game, which I can totally understand now because like this type of story is right up my alley and it's so amazing. Like BioShock 1 and 2 didn't even necessarily deal with alternate realities at all, really, I don't think. It's just did they? I'm trying to remember the story of them. The first one didn't at all because that was where you were like a sort of like secret sleeper agent who was called back. And I don't think the second game really had anything to do with that. So yeah, like this was a new concept kind of brought in for this game, and I think it worked really well. I have no idea how I stretched this long, considering the game ended about what 34 minutes ago. But that was BioShock Infinite. That's crazy, crazy game. Crazily good game. Like, Jesus, dude. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next episode where we will most likely play the Burial at Sea, I think it was. And then after that, I think we will get into Spec Ops: The Line, which is another shooter type game that has an absolutely amazing story. It doesn't have anything to do with time travel, if you're not aware. So don't if don't like mistake it for that at all. It's a very different kind of story, but it's still a great story. It's definitely one that makes you think. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.